Hmm. The most important thing that you want to understand about footwork is going to be the reason why you win and the reason why you lose in any fight. So don't go pouting to your coach or talking to your team that you had your footwork down because the footwork is the reason why you're going to lose. So in order to fix that, just make sure you follow these four just most promising rules that you're going to need when you talk about your footwork game. So number one, understand how to go east to west. East to west, without a doubt, is the most important thing to have based on what you're going to have to face when you're inside of a boxing ring. So, east to west, side steps, lateral motion, and lateral moves. If you take time and really digest what you need to learn, I just want to keep it 100 with you guys. There'll be a whole lot of guys, a whole lot less guys getting their butts whooped during the fights if they actually knew how to go east side to west better. But what you find is they don't take the footwork serious enough. And then when they get in there and then they about to have a panic attack, you seen it. Even your favorite fighter had a panic attack and took a knee. Why do you think that happened? Yeah, neuroplasticity, fight or flight mode, panic attack. But mastering your footwork will make you such a different beast in the ring. You've never seen Muhammad Ali have a panic attack in a fight. And the reason why that is because Muhammad Ali understood footwork. He lived it. He didn't have bad habits other than women. And he didn't do a lot of things to abuse his body at all. He didn't even eat bacon. So you know that boy's body was healthy as crap. But what you gotta think about is when these guys are talking about they're doing all of these perfect training camps, and then you see them go into these fights, and then you're like, what happened? It's because it's your footwork game. Your footwork game is the most important factor when you look at any fight over the course of history. It's the footwork. When Roach fought Davis, it was footwork. He was fighting the entire wrong fight, the entire second half of the fight. You want to pull a guy who's a southpaw, a good bumper. You want to pull that guy. You want to pull him east to west every time. You don't stand in the paint with someone, especially when you train in the DMV. When you train in DC, for those of you who have not been there and trained or even competed, when you compete in DC, this is why Tank is so good because he trains where in the paint you learn to survive. That's the real dog pound. Everybody talks about where Mayweather was in Las Vegas. You know, they did the demo and they were just saying it's the dog pound. It's not. The dog pound is in up the DMV. That's where the dog pound originated from, right? Then you got guys like Joe Frazier, Philadelphia. Now you got Shakur Stevens out of Brick City, Newark. Then you got Baltimore, cause Vegas ain't none of those places. You get it? Virginia, Sweet Pea. You get it? Frankie Randall, the first guy to beat Chavez. Yeah, Virginia. You know, Floyd Mayweather caught the train, came over there just to get that work with world champions. You know what I'm saying? So that's where this kid is from. Knowing how to fight in the paint is a real big thing. So he knew how to fight in the paint. The difference is you're fighting in the paint against somebody who all they do is fight in the paint because they don't leave the DMV. He leaves and moved down to South Florida, where it's 90 degrees year round. So that's what happens with you got a guy like Tank, and then he forgets. You can't beat someone who does that every day, all day, because now you move. And instead of taking liberty to just use the entire floor, what he decided to do is go toe to toe and fight the guy's fight. And that's why it ended up being a draw. And a lot of people saw Lamont winning. And some people said, Tank did enough to get a draw. It's not a lot of people that saying Tank won, but it was a flaw. It was a mistake. I was just with his coach, Coach Coach Calvin Ford. I just was with him the other day, and they want to fight. But it's a lot of thing going on in this personal situation, and I don't get into that. But what you got to remember is your feet, and he has them. Trust what I'm saying. He has the feet. He just got to make sure he don't slip up and not use them. Because the only thing you got to do when you got a guy who can really bang is you got to make sure you pull him left, you pull him right, and then you do those ollie circles. So anybody who types the word footwork, I'm gonna give them this free footwork training guide. And I don't care. I can give away shit on my channel because I care about people. And if you box, you'll get your head split going up against the kind of guys. When I go into the gym and mentor guys, you better not come in there with no mistakes. We have to have people signing waivers before they spar. The people that are under our banner. I'm 5 generations in the sport. So your guys come in there, you go in there and you spar against a guy who knows where you got holes in your game by just looking at you. When you make one move, you done told on yourself. Or your feet planted right? Is he sitting down in his stance, not just bending his knees? I'm gonna wipe his nose with the left hook. Let's get him. Like, man, it's just levels of guys you don't want to mess with. Okay, so you got to be very careful. So I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. So we're giving you this so tight footwork down there. And in the chat, make sure that when you use this really teaches you. I'm gonna go through this guide and tell you what you're gonna learn. All right. First thing you're gonna learn how to do is understand the ring, and that's with the box step. You got the box step. I remember the first time I went into the boxing gym, and not the first time I went into the boxing gym, but the first time I actually was introduced to this. And it was from one of the coaches who he and I got into it. He didn't really like me because I was a good looking kid and I'm a new kid on the block and I knew my boxing. So he felt that his job and situation was going to be in a bad situation, put it like that, because he could see the writing in the wall on the wall that I came in, I got my programming, I'm good to go, I got everything. But I must give him credit, even though he and I didn't really click, he understood one thing: fundamentals of boxing. And I remember him doing that. And I said, I'm gonna call that the box step. I'm gonna call that the box step. That's gonna be my thing. And I loved it. That was one of the final, real, fundamental, foundational pieces that I learned, and I committed to implement it. But I give him credit, Coach D. Special shouts out to you, brother, if you're watching out there in YouTube land, because I know you still became one of my biggest supporters and fans. And I'm a fan of you too because you were smart. You did know your boxing, So even though I was gonna go upside your head, we were good people. But understanding how to use that ring, and that's the first thing you learn. And so the box step, understand how to go all 4 directions forward. You got to know how to go lateral, to your left, backwards, and then to your right. And you got to understand how your feet have to move to do that. A lot of people take that serious, but they don't take it serious. But every time I put that video up, the box step, that video goes very, very hot. A lot of times it does a million, 1.5, and sometimes most of the time it 165,000, 300,000, 500,000, 800,000. I got them all. Like every time it go up, it does numbers. And it's because people like concept. They like the idea of knowing how to box and understanding they're acquiring something that really will help them navigate the entire boxing ring. So there's that. That's the first drill you're going to learn. It's the first drill that any of you should learn in boxing. And if you haven't, shame on your coach. He is slacking on the job. make sure that you say, teach me the box step when you're learning boxing. What's up, champ? You want to increase your VO2 max. Well, what you want to do is make sure that you monitor all of the things that are relevant. And the most important thing about VO2 max is that a really, really good athletes is pumping 42 liters of blood and oxygen through their blood a minute. A supreme athlete like Michael Jordan is popping out 52 liters. We're talking about 1993 Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan that was just absolutely unstoppable. You couldn't stop him. He had too much oxygen in his blood. But the most important thing is that you're consistent with your training and that you understand how to box breathe, control your breath, control your conditioning. It's not about how much you have on the VO2 reading because it doesn't matter if you don't understand how to control the breathing process. Does that make sense? So I'd work on box breathing. Like when I start exercising, calm your nervous system down and understand how to get total control over that. And you'll fight longer, stronger, consistent, and you'll melt anyone down. That was one of the systematic breakdowns that I taught my fighters. They aren't in better shape than us, but we don't have to be in better shape. We understand how to breathe. So if you understand how to breathe and you take those exercise drills seriously and breathing, you're gonna crush anybody because they don't understand pacing, the breathing. And so just practice box breathing. And if you want to learn what box breathing is and understand how to condition your athletes, then just make sure no matter what you do, you go to the link in the description and get battle ready. That is a physical training program. It's basics and it literally just puts your body through a workout toning, the kind of toning that an athlete should have. That's a fighter, not overtraining like you are a muscle builder. So you're not in a bodybuilding contest. You just want to be lean and cut. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, your VO2, man, it's cool to obtain maximum oxygen, but you just have to understand we have a sprint drill program where you run and then you do sprints. And so the first runs, you do your miles, right? But you pace it and you have to get a mile in 6 minutes and then 5 minutes. Then you start doing your sprints, 100 yards, jog back 80 yards, jog back 60. Like, so you do that, but you do it multiple times. Like, you might do the 100 4 times, then the 80. Like, you learn to build your conditioning, your oxygen levels up by having the right proper drills that actually feed that beast. You get what I'm saying? So that's what we created the page for, man, to give you some of that knowledge. But like I said, mastering your footwork is essential. We changed one of our programs online just for today. It was typically 197, so we put it up. This is the skills guide. If you like training, just type skills, or I think the link is down in the description. Skills guide. And we put it for $5 just for 12 hours. I think it's 4 hours left. Might be 3 hours left. But if you want that, go check it out in the description. We put it there for you guys. Just like I said, because a lot of you really, really more serious about the boxing. Hell, some of my fans that like boxing are more committed to training than some of the damn fighters. That's facts. I mean, I've got some guys who follow us over on Instagram that are about that life training. They get there, they about it, they serious, they want it. That guy bought the what was that? The Battle Ready and the Prep School. Prep School is a beginning school program for people who want to learn boxing. Man, that dude posts about it and tags me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate someone who takes something serious. So hopefully you'll do it and take it serious because, like I said, who knows? Maybe you are the next champion. That's all I got, man. Be blessed. I got to get out of here. Hopefully you got something from that. Tomorrow we're doing a footwork clinic. If you're not following me over on Instagram, follow us at Master Boxing on Instagram. You can go into the description here on my video and you can see if there's something that you could use that could help further your career in being cool as hell. If you could further it just a little notch. So, Coach Bradley signing out. Be blessed, guys. Peace.